Access main program. Access main security. Access main program grid.
You didn't say the magic word.
Please!
The Jurassic Park series is no doubt one of the most iconic and nostalgic movie franchises to ever exist. However, ever since the release of Jurassic Park 3, many have lost their taste in the film. However, in 2015, director Colin Trevarrow gave the franchise an update with Jurassic World. Based on ratings such as Rotten Tomatoes and some of my own experience with talking to people, it's safe to say that the film was okay. Many questioned if the series even needed to continue, and many described it as being off track from the originals. In 2018, we got the sequel to the film, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which has by far been one of the most poorly received movies in the series. However, what I think many people fail to see was that Fallen Kingdom was really just setting up the franchise for something much bigger. Regardless of my opinion, this movie was not well received by fans. And using the excuse of, oh, well, it made $1.3 billion in the US is valid, it fails to see the point of criticism. When a big movie franchise makes a new addition to the series, no duh, it's gonna make good money, but that doesn't mean it was good. The same can be said for the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. Disney absolutely flunked out of its opportunity. Over half the Star Wars fanbase just stopped watching the movies after The Last Jedi came out. So while Fallen Kingdom was profiting, many fans did not enjoy it, and the major reason for this, in my opinion, is the plot. Even as someone who found this movie enjoyable, I can agree that there were way too many subplots trying to be stuffed into this one film. For starters, we have the plot with Claire trying to start an organization to save the dinosaurs because, according to the news or something, the island's volcano is about to erupt. Alright, there you go. That sets up the movie for a whole race of, oh wow, is the protagonist going to get to the island in time to save the dinosaurs? Or is InGen or some side company going to get there first? And that alone would have been a good movie on its own, but no, they have to add more plot. At the beginning of the movie, we get a prologue where they have to extract the tooth from the Indominus Rex, and I'm not even gonna lie, bro, I love this scene. This genuinely gave me chills in the theaters when the Mosasaurus ate the submarine and then Rexy appears out of nowhere to start things off. But, okay, now we have two plots. Then Claire gets a phone call from the Lockwood estate and is greeted by the main villain of the story, which I already forgot the name of. Oh, Eli Mills. He explains that he works for Mr. Lockwood, who is just some old man that believed in John Hammond's dream of the dinosaurs living in peace. He says that there is a sanctuary they can transport the dinosaurs to, but that they need help transporting Blue and that it's too hard, and so I guess this eventually ties in Owen Grady into all this. And then they do the same thing they did in Jurassic Park 3 where they convince Alan Grant to come back to the island to save their son. And in this movie they ask Owen Grady to come back to the island and save Blue, I guess. And Owen nearly ended the movie early in this scene.
Save the dinosaurs from an island that's about to explode. What could go wrong?
I'm going.
Don't.
I don't have a choice.
What? Of course you have a choice.
So what, I should just build my own cabin, play pool, and drink beer all day while these dinosaurs go extinct?
Yeah. I like pool.
Anyway, so now we have one main plot. Notice the sarcasm when I say that. So after about 45 minutes of Chris Pratt running and dinosaurs roaring, it is revealed that Eli Mills was actually planning to sell the dinosaurs to other countries through some type of black market auction. And oh hey, remember that scene at the beginning of the movie where they take the tooth from the Indominus Rex? So yeah, they made that into a dinosaur. And then the movie completely shifts genres for 5 minutes, which almost made the movie rated R. And also there's a clone. Literally. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. How can I love this movie even though I've just explained why it's bad? That's because I see the movie as two sides to the same coin. One side is the cinematography, idea, and overall action of the movie. The other side is the plot, actors, and the actual execution of the movie, which is all the bad stuff. While the plot was bad, the idea definitely wasn't. The pitch of having the volcano on Isla Nublar explode was great. In fact, I would have probably used this if I was making the movie. That idea alone kickstarts so many new and interesting parts of the franchise that haven't yet been explored. But if I were to rewatch the movie right now, I could definitely agree that the execution in some scenes were pretty bad, and many loopholes were left open. By the way, if you haven't already read the book for Jurassic Park, they actually nuke the island at the end, I kid you not. Another interesting addition to the film was the idea of the Indoraptor. Now before you guys go to the comment section and hate on the Indoraptor, let me remind you that the idea of the Indoraptor has been put into place since the first Jurassic World. Watch this scene here.
Dr. Wu, he works for us.
That's not a real dinosaur.
No, it ain't, kid. But somebody's got to make sure that this company has a future. Imagine that one, fraction of the size, deadly, intelligent, able to hide from the most advanced military technology. A living weapon unlike anything we've ever seen.
Hoskins all throughout the film was trying to express his dream of militarized dinosaurs, so when you think about it, a 20-foot black T-Rex Velociraptor hybrid that reacts to laser beams isn't so far-fetched. As weird as the idea was, the design of the Indoraptor was absolutely terrifying. Now it's time for the biggest point I want to make. Jurassic Park is not a dinosaur movie. Sure, it's a movie about a park involving the idea of dinosaurs being brought back to life, but these, generically, are not dinosaurs. This is even explained in the first Jurassic Park back in 1993.
Using sophisticated techniques, they extract the preserved blood from the mosquito and, bingo, dino DNA. A full DNA strand contains 3 billion genetic codes. If we looked at screens like these once a second for 8 hours a day, it'd take 2 years to look at the entire DNA strand. It's that long. So, it's full of holes. Now that's where our geneticists take over. Thinking machine supercomputers and gene sequencers break down the strand in minutes. And virtual reality displays show our geneticists the gaps in the DNA sequence. We use the complete DNA of a frog to fill in the holes and complete the code.
And if that isn't enough to convince you, Dr. Wu explicitly mentions this in Jurassic World.
But we are doing what we have done from the beginning. Nothing in Jurassic World is natural. We have always filled gaps in the genome with the DNA of other animals. And if their genetic code was pure, many of them would look quite different. But you didn't ask for reality. You asked for more teeth.
I never asked for a monster.
Monster is a relative term. To a canary, a cat is a monster. We're just used to being the cat.
Okay, so we've clarified that these creatures aren't dinosaurs. Then what are they? Have you ever looked at the back of one of those fruit gummy packages and you see where it says they're genetically modified? I imagine the creatures in Jurassic Park being that way too. They're more or less genetically modified hybrids of different creatures such as frogs and cuttlefish. Now I'm not saying you can't call them dinosaurs or a T-Rex, or like I'm gonna cancel you if you try to say that, because technically they are replicated after dinosaurs, just don't compare them to actual studies of dinosaurs. For instance, the height of a velociraptor is actually below 2 feet, yet the velociraptors in the movie are around 6 to 7 feet tall. And this is leading up to one of the most controversial points in the movie: Lockwood's daughter or clone. They explained in the movie that Lockwood's daughter died and that he had the technology to clone her, so why not? Obviously, this confused a lot of people in the fan base, and people were completely overreacting to this. If you ask me, this was just a good reinforcement in the concept that this isn't a dinosaur movie, and it never was. Now, yes, I will admit that the whole idea of a clone being in the movie was completely unnecessary and did not really fit with the tone whatsoever, but it's not as far-fetched as people make it out to be. Colin Trevarrow mentioned in an interview with Collider that he wanted to bring together the idea of dinosaurs being alongside humans and in the wild. This inspired his first short film, Battle at Big Rock, which involved the story of a family being attacked by a Carnotaurus in a national park. This was modeled after the final sequel to the series, which hasn't come out yet, Jurassic World Dominion. There's so much to expand on the series still, and while Fallen Kingdom had its issues, it was part of something much bigger, which will hopefully live up to its full potential in the next movie.